Where would you rate your love and excitement for Disney World?
Yeah, we'll probably do a Spinal Tap and turn it to 11. I also won't forget the first time they met Goofy, which terrified them. So
Goofy can be a little terrifying, I guess, first time, sure.
Oh,
Nick.
I can see it in your eyes.
I have an idea. Oh, okay. Disney executives, if you're watching this, which I know you are, that would rapidly become my favorite park, I fear.
Fifth park right there.
They had so many angry parents because it was super scary. It might be coming up on the screen right now through the magic of editing. Oh man, if I didn't feel old when we started this recording, I feel even older now. Because I am. Well, hello, welcome. I am Julian, and with me is my, I think, soon-to-be very good friend, Nick. Nick, how are you?
I'm doing great. I'm really excited to start working on this with you.
I am too, and welcome everyone to Name to Be Determined Disney Podcast with Nick and Julian. We are, we're discovering exactly what this whole series is going to be for ourselves as well. But what we know we want this to be is a celebration of everything that Walt Disney World specifically is. We might talk Disneyland too. We might even talk some of the parks all over the world.
Yeah.
But it's going to be primarily probably Disney World and the Disney World resorts and EPCOT and Animal Kingdom and all of that. But we also aren't going to necessarily shy away from things that we feel Disney could do differently, could maybe do better, that we wish they hadn't changed. Because you know what? If there's one thing we've learned over the years, you can absolutely love something. That doesn't mean that you can't also occasionally criticize it a little bit and wish things were a little bit different. But overall, Nick, on a scale of 1 to 10, where would you rate your love and excitement for Disney World?
Yeah, we'll probably do a Spinal Tap and turn it to 11.
I love it.
One of the reasons I wanted to work on a project like this with somebody who else is also passionate about Disney World is I don't get down there nearly enough, so spend probably too much time thinking about it and planning that next trip.
That's, that brings up a great point. It's one of the wonderful reasons that I loved when, we started talking about doing this and we realized, gosh, we both love Disney. We should do something. There are a lot of wonderful, truly wonderful podcasts and YouTube channels and so forth out there of people that are able to go to Disney World almost every day. They live in Orlando or around Orlando and they can go in there every day. And they have their own experiences being able to do that. And we thought it'd be actually really cool to do a series with two people that do not live in Orlando. We live in Michigan. We got to travel a ways to get there. We maybe don't get there every day, every week, every month, but when we go, we get the most out of every second that we are there. And you know what? Even when we're not there, we're usually thinking about and obsessing over Walt Disney World.
Maybe a little too much.
That's right. In fact, a little spoiler alert, as we're recording this, you, I believe, are very close. I'm jealous. You're very close to going to Disney World, aren't you, Nick?
I'm 3 days out to that amazing Christmas trip that all of the podcasts, when people ask, how do you avoid the crowds? Step 1, don't go in December. Well, we're making that mistake.
We're making that mistake. It's going to be because you get to experience those beautiful decorations that they have there, and then that's going to be absolutely fabulous. And you're going with your family, and you're going with some extended family as well, aren't you?
It's a bit of an extended family. My dad turned 70 on Christmas Eve, so we wanted to make it a pretty big celebration. So we're going to do almost 2 weeks down there, so hopefully we can see just about everything.
Oh man, I hope you're going to be taking lots of photographs. That maybe you'll be able to share some of those photos if you feel good with that to people that are watching our series. Want to see how that trip is. How many people are going total?
It'll be 12 total, which we've actually done bigger groups during Christmas than that, so 12 will actually seem more manageable.
Now, see, that's another reason that Nick and I wanted to do this series is that Nick is married, has 3 children of his own, and your wife loves Disney as much as you do. Your kids
Yes,
are obviously going to, if they don't already, because some of them are pretty young, love Disney as much as you do. Whereas I am not married, I don't have any children, so I'm more of a solo traveler, but I also go with my parents occasionally, my sister, because the four of us grew up loving Disney together and have so many memories. I thought it'd be kind of cool to share our differences and the similarities between these two very different ways of experiencing Disney.
Yeah, they are different because we have done one anniversary trip without the kids, but it's usually about the kids and what they want to do.
There's nothing quite like viewing Disney World through the eyes of a child. You know, I'm very jealous of. I've gotten to experience that a couple times with like cousins and stuff when we've gone down there and they were very young, and just watching that wide-eyed, it's beautiful.
I will never forget the first time my kids met Mickey Mouse, and they were just wide-eyed wondered. They couldn't believe, and it of course was when Talking Mickey was in Town Square Theater there, so
Yes.
That's obviously changed, but Mickey Mouse was talking right to them and they were just in shock. I also won't forget the first time they met Goofy, which terrified them. So
Goofy can be a little terrifying, I guess, you know, first time, you know, sure.
But it was set up well. We were in Epcot. It was Mickey, Goofy, Minnie. So it was like they kind of ran towards Goofy, then took a step back, saw Minnie, and ran right to her.
I love that. I love it. Yeah, and those are the things that you just never forget. And that's something as adults, you know, you can go with an adult that's never been to Disney World, and it's a wonderful experience even viewing it through their eyes. But there's nothing like a child just wide-eyed meeting Mickey. That'd be like, you know, me meeting Steven Spielberg or Walt Disney for the first time, you know, in real life, getting to do that. I'd be starstruck, and that's what children are with Mickey and Minnie and well, a little terrified of Goofy, but also starstruck.
Yeah, Goofy's just too tall for a 1-year-old.
That's true. Well, see, and this is kind of what we're thinking this video series, podcast, video cast, YouTube, whatever it is going to be, is just us talking about and sharing these kind of things. But also, we're going to want to hear from all of you as we go through this process. We're hoping that this can be a place where we can all share both our wonderful memories of Disney, the things that we love the most. We might pose questions in each episode to allow you to comment and share things with us in the comments of the videos. But then also sharing the things, like we said, that you might want to change. So I've got a question for you, Nick.
Yes.
I'm going to throw one. Now, see, here's the thing. I should say, Nick and I have known of each other for a long time, through the theater community here in Michigan, and you know, I've known his wife through theater for many years as well. But it wasn't until just a short time ago that we realized how much we both loved Disney World. And we decided that one of the best ways we think we could get to know each other is through this mutual love for Disney. So we're going to be learning a lot about each other as we go through this process by asking each other questions about our experiences. I'm going to do that right now by throwing one at Nick that he has no idea is coming. I did not prep him with this question. I'm going to throw one at him right now. So, of all the times that you've gone to Disney World over the years, you know, what's the first thing that comes to mind of an attraction that they took out of Disney World? An attraction, a restaurant, a show, anything like that they took out of Disney World that you were like, I can't believe they got rid of that. It's one of my favorite things.
So one of the first days during my first trip, we went into Tomorrowland, and that has drastically changed. There's a lot of things not there. But I remember in my second trip trying to find the timekeeper, because that experience, there was so much going on with the animatronics in the room, but also obviously the 360 experience where I just left that going, we were just standing in a room and it felt like we were transported, and not being able to recreate that experience, doing my best watching old YouTube videos. But that's the one that I miss, and I can't believe what's there now? Monsters Inc. Laugh Floor?
Yeah, it's the Laugh Floor now, yeah, which is also a fantastic experience, which is what I get so torn on, because I'm there with you. That's one that I miss a lot. There's one right across the way from that I miss, that maybe you don't as much, being a family person, and that was, you know where I'm going with this.
I sure do.
Yep, the alien extraterrestrial encounter. Alien encounter. Loved that attraction. Scared children I mean, so no matter how many signs they put up there saying this is not for kids, this is scary, it's really terrifying. They had so many angry parents because it was super scary, and I loved that. And I miss that every time I go there, and that's not there anymore. But I can understand why it's not there.
Yes, I missed that one too, but maybe it didn't actually make sense in Tomorrowland of Magic Kingdom.
Maybe not. That might have made more sense. I don't know. Maybe at Disney Hollywood Studios tucked away somewhere, or maybe Epcot or something. But yeah, it took a lot of adults and children by surprise at how incredibly terrifying that was. And that's a great choice because, and oftentimes what they replace those rides with are rides or attractions that we love. Mm-hmm. But I always go back to, but you have so much space. Couldn't you have just added and kept that other one? I'm sure we will be talking about that a lot as we go forward in this series because I immediately can think of 5, 10, 15 things that I miss every time I go there that I absolutely loved. Some of them replaced by things that I also absolutely love, but I just make a whole, Nick.
I can see it in your eyes.
I have an idea. Oh, okay. Disney executives, if you're watching this, which I know you are, right? If you're watching this, make an entire park that is all the rides and attractions and shows that you used to have and took out, and make that a whole park.
Horizons, Mr. Toad, come on.
Great movie ride, the lights, camera, action, stunt show. I mean, that would rapidly become my favorite park, I fear.
Fifth park right there. Yeah.
It would be amazing. And it would be so cool because it's not only would be kind of a time capsule and things that, those of us who experienced them would thoroughly enjoy. But imagine taking your kids to it and going, this was in the Magic Kingdom, where Winnie the Pooh is. Mr. Toad used to be there, and we used to ride this all the time and enjoy it, and it would be so cool.
Yeah. Well, you hit me with a question, Julian, so now it's my turn.
Oh, boy.
We're getting to know each other, so I want to know how you started this passion. What keyed you into Disney World and ignited that passion?
Oh my gosh. Well, that's a tough question. I'm glad you're asking that because that's a tough question. When I think about it, I'm trying to remember what my first memory is of Disney World, because I was very, very fortunate to have gotten to go to Disney World when I was quite young. I was 5 or 6 years old.
Wow.
When we went for the first time. And I know this will shock each and every one of you, but I'm old enough that means that the park was only about 3 years old, because we went there in the early to mid 70s for the first time.
So Epcot wasn't even a thing.
It was the Magic Kingdom only. That was it. And it was glorious. We loved it. And my parents saved for a long time to be able to take me and my sister down there. Tickets were a very different price, and we may talk about that as we go through this series, the sticker shock of how much prices have changed, but also the pricing structure. But I do have memories of that first time, and I'm going to hit my parents up for some photographs, see if I can find and dig up some old photographs from that time and share those here. In fact, they might be coming up on the screen right now through the magic of editing. Ooh. Boy, I sure hope I can get some. Mom, need old photos. Oh, I got them for you. Okay. But my best memories were, I remember walking into the Magic Kingdom for the first time, and you go under that tunnel, under the train.
Yes.
And you walk out and you see Main Street for the first time, and being so awed by that, and then walking more toward the center of Main Street, and then you look down Main Street, and what do you see at the end of Main Street? And there's that incredible castle. And all I had seen till that point were film footage and stuff on television of the smaller castle at Disneyland.
Right.
So that's what I was expecting, if anything. And then I saw that, and it's this larger than life castle. I'm pretty sure I just stood there in awe, and my parents had to drag me, into the stores and so forth. But I remember that so vividly, and that kind of awe has never left me. In fact, my father has a tradition every time he goes into the Magic Kingdom. There's a certain spot in Main Street that he stands. There's a certain thing on the ground that he stands on every time he goes in to view the Main Street from that spot, and that's his tradition every time. And I'm pretty sure that if and when my father is no longer with us and we go to Disney World, I will be taking that tradition and doing the same thing in his honor, because it's just a magical place, and it so transforms you.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah. So I'm going to throw that one back on you, because
Okay.
I'm very curious. What's your first experiences you remember?
Yeah, so like I mentioned, that first I didn't get to go as a kid. It took us a lot longer to get to a point where we could go to Disney World, and that was, I was in high school, which tends to not really be the age that people are more excited to be going to Disney World. But my obsession with wanting to go starts with that interest in animation and kind of going down that path and learning what the Disney animation studio kind of drove all that forward. And then learning about Imagineering, I was so excited to actually see it all in person. So that castle moment, amazing. It somehow gets bigger as you get closer to it. It's just amazing. But like I mentioned with the Timekeeper, that was one of those first memories there. And then visiting Epcot for the first time, that is the park I fell in love with. That's still my favorite park. It's changed so much, but one of the things I remember is we ended up park hopping that trip a lot, and we would spend almost a full day in Magic Kingdom, and then hop to Epcot, and we only spent like 2 hours there. So then we started in MGM Studios at the time, and then hopped to Epcot at night, and then we just kept realizing we have to keep going back. We're barely getting anything. And it was the Millennium Celebration. That is probably what really put it over the edge. And that is probably the music I listen to the most, is that soundtrack to the parade, the Tapestry of Nations. And that puts me back in that Disney World moment. And that's just my favorite.
So good. You're right. And that I listened to that CD. Look at that CD. How quaint, right? That at least I didn't say cassette tape, right? That CD of that all the time. It is such great music. I wish we could play a little piece of it right now without having copyright issues, because it really is fantastic. You should seek it out if you haven't heard it before. Tapestry of Nations. Was that Reflections as well? Was that around the same time, or?
I think that was still the nighttime.
I think that was the nighttime show when Tapestry of Nations was. Yeah,
but that was when Epcot had a parade going around World Showcase.
I know, and I'm there with you too. I'm getting all of these ideas for episodes from this one conversation. We're going to have to talk about Epcot. Because my experience at Epcot is going there the year it opened. And experiencing that for the first, because all we had done was the Magic Kingdom. So you and I are going to have very different things to share, and same with Disney Hollywood Studios, at MGM Studios as it was then, which it always will be partially in my heart. It will always be Disney MGM Studios to a degree. And even the Animal Kingdom, getting to experience those the year they opened, being such Disney fans in my family, is so, those are just memories you never forget your first time.
Yeah. And I don't know if we'll get to a point of doing guests, but I know that when my wife went down to Disney World, Animal Kingdom was in previews, and they pulled them special to go in there as a test group. Like, it was kind of how they do cast member, or back then there weren't influencers to come in and test things out, so they were bringing guests in on Animal Kingdom. Man, people complain that there's not enough to do now in Animal Kingdom, and there was no Expedition Everest. It was mainly Africa. Yeah, so going down there and talking about how much that park has changed. The youngest park has changed so much.
It has, and that's one of those parks that just continues to grow by leaps and bounds every year because of all the foliage. Mm-hmm. This is the park that they've all said it's just going to get more beautiful every single year it's in existence. You've got a homework assignment. You have a homework assignment. You must start preparing your wife to come on the show as a guest and talk about that. I want to hear the details, because that would be just a dream come true for any Disney fan, to get to go into an advanced experience in a park before it opens to the public. That's amazing.
Yeah,
amazing.
And it's so hard to believe that that's the newest park, and they just celebrated their 25th anniversary?
Yeah, I think it was 98 when it opened. Yeah, that would be 20. Oh my. Oh man, if I didn't feel old when we started this recording, I feel even older now because I am. All right, I've got a question. I'm going to throw this to you, Nick, but I'm going to throw it to you with a caveat, with a challenge. Okay, you only have 60 seconds to answer this question.
Okay.
So I'm going to put which is hard, right? When you love Disney, you can talk about this stuff forever. We're gonna, I'll say right now, if this is a question you want to delve into deeper, we will do it in a future episode. So you don't feel the pressure, but you have about 60 seconds.
So this could be like a teaser.
It's a teaser.
Yeah,
It's a teaser. All right. Oh, this is so tough, man. I don't know how I would answer this one. I'm curious to see what you're going to say. All right. So if you could stay at any Disney World resort, any Disney owned, by Disney, the classic. If you could stay at any one, money is no object, time is no object, anything, where would you stay and why?
Oh, man. So only 60 seconds.
60 seconds,
and I'm
let's
wasting
go.
them. I'm already wasting them. Well, I do want to stay at all of them, and I've stayed at very few. But it's got to be on the monorail loop.
Ah, yes, classic.
And I think the one that hits the top list is the Poly. Nothing makes you feel more like you're on vacation than that Polynesian landscape. Like, we do the monorail loop and we walk through Poly. We actually have a character breakfast all at Ohana lined up, so we're so excited for that. But I just can't wait to stay there, to wake up in that resort, and then either stay at the resort all day or hop on the monorail and head over to Magic Kingdom or EPCOT.
Oh, nice. Yeah. Oh, that's great and I think you did it under 60, so that's pretty impressive. Because now that's fascinating. That is not what I was suspecting you were going to say. So I'm very intrigued. Yeah. We're going to dive deeper into this later. But I love that you started it with on the monorail loop because those are the classic hotels, right?
Yes.
The Contemporary, the Polynesian, and eventually the Floridian, which wasn't there at the very, very beginning. But the Polynesian holds a very special place in my heart that I will share in a future episode of why, and there are multiple reasons. One that's very personal to me and my family, of why the Polynesian is one of my absolute favorites in that whole area too, and not the least of which is I love the feel. Yeah, that Polynesian feel and that view of the castle. Okay,
yes,
I'm taking away
already more than
60 seconds. We're moving on. All right,
turnabout's fair play.
Oh no!
So I'm gonna throw a tough one at you, one that I don't even. I kind of think I know my answer, but it changes. So I want to know what your favorite park is and why, but only 60 seconds.
Oh, come on.
You can do it.
Are you serious?
You can do it. Just think
favorite
of this
park?
Think of this as setting up future episodes.
I'm stalling for time so I can
Okay, but I've started the timer.
Oh, jeez. Okay.
Mickey Mouse's hands are moving.
They're moving. Tick, tick, tick. All right. So, this is going to be so not a fair answer. I'm going to give a not fair answer, and then I'm going to give a fair answer. My unfair answer is, when people ask me that question, I usually say whatever park I'm in at that moment. And I know that's not fair. Nick is shaking his head. Nope. I know that's not fair. I can't do it. Favorite park? All right. The time is ticking.
There are so many more resorts than there are parks, and you made me pick.
I know, but it's the parks, man. Okay. All right. Yeah, my favorite one, I have to say, is it's got to be Disney Hollywood Studios. And
wow.
I know. It's so hard. Like, the Magic Kingdom comes to mind immediately. Epcot, I've got a really soft spot for, but the Hollywood Studios, because I love Disney and I love movies. Those are two of my favorite things in the entire world, and that combined both of them. So it would have to be, and I can go into more detail of why. But if I had to pick one, that's the one.
Okay.
Did I make it?
I think you made it. I think.
Oh, they just said that's Sophie's choice, man.
It's tough. Because I think
I love that. See, this is what we want this to be. And what I love about this is coming from two people who admittedly do not get to experience Disney World nearly as much as we would like to. I mean, if I could go to Disney World every day, I would do it, right? I mean, so when we go, it is like it's everything to us, It's and that's not to say anything against anyone who does go every day. You obviously love it. If you live in Orlando and you get that annual pass and you're going in there every day making videos, it's so glorious seeing how many people adore this thing that Walt created and didn't even get to see before he passed away. I mean, he obviously got to experience Disneyland, had his hands all over the creation of Disney World, especially the Magic Kingdom and those hotels, but he never got to see it open, and that's tragic.
No, and that's why I can't wait to take a picture with Walt in EPCOT at Dreamers Point. I'm pretty excited. I can't believe how excited I am for a statue, but
I know.
There you go.
It's the man himself. I love it. Well, with that, so we're going to end this video here, and I'm going to end it with another question for Nick. I'm going to throw this at Nick and ask him, so going forward with this process of creating these videos, and, obviously we're creating them out of our passion for Walt Disney World and sharing that with other people that feel that way as well. What is the one thing you would like people that watch these videos to take away from them if they could?
All right, so there's a couple of things, but I think number one is I want to help create those moments for the people who can't get there every day and help have those, open these up to conversations so it feels like we're just sitting around talking about Disney World with each other, because it's really hard not to talk about Disney World with people who are like, okay, and then you see their eyes start glassing over. You got to find the right audience, and hopefully that's what we're doing right now. We're finding a place where we could talk about Disney World.
Oh, yeah. And the endless things we're going to be able to talk about, because what a history,
Yes.
And 1971. That's a long time ago,
There's a lot of firsts. There's a lot of things that people don't realize didn't happen until Disney did it in both Disney World and Disneyland. So we're probably going to talk about both a little bit, but we got to focus on, I've never been to Disneyland, so we're going to focus on what we know.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And I've only been to Disneyland a few times, maybe 4 times or so, which I guess for some people is a lot. So I'm very lucky to have done that too. But Disney World is certainly the place. And you'll see how Disneyland has inspired a lot of what's at Disney World and caused him to want to create it because of the space issues that he had in Disneyland. So anyway, with that, everyone, we hope you enjoyed our intro video. It was unscripted. We had a couple of things that, I had a couple things I knew I wanted to ask Nick. He had a couple things he apparently knew he wanted to ask me. Whew, I'm going to be pondering my answer to that last question for a little while. But we want to open this up to you. If you have any comments on this video, questions you'd like to ask us, things you'd like to hear us talk about on future episodes of this series, let us know. If you have ideas for the name of it, well, we'll probably have a name for this before we release this. But right now, we got a bunch of ideas running through our head. What do we call this, Nick? I don't know what it's
to be determined. To be Disney.
TBD Disney. There we go. TBD Disney. So, from me, Jolly Julian, and my good friend Nick, this is TBD Disney. And we will catch you on the next video. Please, if you enjoyed this at all, feel free to share this with anyone that you know in your life that's a Disney fan. Subscribe to this so you hear about when the new episodes come out. We would only ask you to do that if you feel you get value out of this. If not, that's no problem. But please feel free to share, comment, subscribe, and we will catch you on the next video. See you, Nick.
Yeah, see you, Julian.
Right.